Hello, I am going to just walk you guys through how to use your new wave equations to solve some calculations. So I'm going to share my screen with you. If you give me just a moment. And here we go. So when you open the wave calculations quiz, it'll look something like this. My screen's a little bit different from yours because mine's the teacher screen, obviously. But your first two questions will be about finding the period, then finding the frequency, and then the wave speed, wavelength, and frequency again. So the most important part is to pay attention to what you're looking for and what you have. So the first question, what is the period of a wave that oscillates 8.1 times per second? So all you have is how many oscillations or how many cycles and per second, so 1 second. And if you go back to your notes, you'll see that one of your options for finding period is number of seconds divided by number of cycles. So you will take 1 second divided by 8.1 cycles. And right here, round your answer to the nearest 0.1. Yes, add units. So when you plug that in your calculator, 1 divided by 8.1, you get 0.12, and our units are seconds. You can also type in SEC if you prefer like that, but just an S for seconds is perfectly fine. Second question, what is the period of an object with a frequency of 8.8 hertz? Well, now you don't know how many cycles and how many seconds, you just have a frequency. Again, if you go back to your notes, it says in there that one of the ways to find period is 1 over frequency. They're reciprocals of each other. So 1 divided by 8.8 hertz, and if you plug that in your calculator, you get 0.11. Rounded to 2 decimal places, no units on this one. Now we're going into frequency. What's the frequency of an object that completes 8.8 cycles in 4.1 seconds? And again, one of your methods for finding frequency is number of cycles divided by number of seconds. So 8.8 cycles divided by 4.1 seconds, plug that in your calculator, rounding to 2 decimal places, you get 2.15, no units. But keep in mind that your units for frequency are hertz, Hz. One more frequency question. What is the frequency of an object with a period of 14.5 seconds? Again, that brings us back to them being reciprocals. So 1 over period will give you frequency. 1 over 14.5 seconds. Plug that into the calculator. You get 0.07. Now we're going to go play with our wave speed equation a little bit. So what is the speed of a wave with frequency 4.8 hertz and wavelength 3.7 meters? Wave speed is the easy one. All you're doing is multiplying frequency times wavelength. Doesn't matter what order you put them in. When you do 4.8 hertz times 3.7 meters, rounded to the 10th place, you get 17.8. Don't add your units, but they would normally be meters per second. Question number 6, what is the wavelength of a wave with a speed 9.1 meters per second, frequency 5.6? Back in your notes, I rearranged the equation for you. Wavelength is equal to speed divided by frequency, so 9.1 meters per second divided by 5.6 hertz gives you 1.6. Meters would be units if we added those in. And the last question, back to frequency. Frequency of a wave with wavelength 3.8 meters and speed 7.8 meters per second. Frequency is one where you really have to pay attention to what you're given in the question, since there's multiple ways to find it. In this case, we can do wave speed, 7.8 meters per second, divided by wavelength, 3.8 meters. So 7.8 divided by 3.8, rounded to the 10th place, gives us 2.1. Don't add units, but we know they would be hertz, Hz. So I'm going to submit my quiz here. And scroll down and you can see that we've earned 20 out of 20. So go back to this video if you get something wrong, if you're not sure what the process is, and by all means ask me questions. Join my morning Zoom meeting, email me, send me questions through Remind, send me a question through Canvas, ask for help, please, if you need any. Good luck, do your best.